Everybody having a good time? Everybody enjoying yourself yet with this stuff? You know, I'm going to say that it's remarkable to me. Good to see Tracy in the house. All the moderators, I want to thank you all very much. Sarah C., Thomas, good to see you as well. John Osborne. There's somebody I wanted to say hello to. I just want to make sure they're here. Scrub, I want to say hello to, even though I haven't seen him. Scrub, we love you. Good to see you. Lynn McGraw. So this, what is taking place, obviously, you're all very, very aware of all of the different issues taking place around the world, not just in this country, but of course, in this country, it's pathetic. Considering who we've been told we were, considering who we thought we were, we're recognizing that we are not who we thought we were, that we are probably somewhat of a larger oppressor on this planet because of the financial systems, because of the consumer generation that we become, because of our insatiable appetite to buy shit we don't need. And we have built something with inside of ourselves, and we've also enslaved the world through it. Now, nobody intended to do that. Not one of you intended that to happen. But as I've always said, that wicked, and you know, gosh dang it, I wish I had my, I wish I had a dry erase. Hold on one second here. Oh, gosh dang it. Sorry about that. I was hoping to have a dry erase because I have a whiteboard and I wanted to do some whiteboarding for you on some things. But let's get down to the nitty gritty of what is going on and why I felt it was important for us to have this show and allow you to come on through Zoom and discuss it. I first want to tell everybody a little bit of the rules about Zoom. If you're in the room right now and you're part of the attendees, we have a lot of attendees right now that people are willing to come on and talk. And this will be an exchange. And obviously there's lots of people here, more names than I've ever seen waiting to talk. So if you are on Zoom and you're just watching the video through Zoom and you don't want to talk, you don't want to be brought on the air, don't raise your hand. If you do want to be brought on the air, there's a button there that'll say, raise your hand. So you can raise your hand and that means you're willing to talk. And if you are not willing to talk, I won't call on you. However, if I do bring you on the show and you do have your hand raised and you don't want to talk, then, and you don't want to have a conversation, you don't want to be live, then please don't raise your hand. And if I bring you on, just say, thank you, but I wasn't here to talk. You don't have to say things. So don't want to pressure anyone to anything. But let me get to something that is taking place, and I'm going to share the screen here. So look at this. This is Newswire. This is Newswire. And hold on, let me make sure I'm live here so I can actually see that this is working. Great. This is Newswire. Read what this says. Americans are renouncing their citizenship at the highest levels on record, according to research by the enrolled accountants, Bainbridge Accountants, New York. 2,909 Americans gave up their citizenship in the first 3 months of 2020, showing a 1,015% increase on the prior 3 months to December 19, 2019, where only 261 cases were recorded. These are expatriates. Now, I want you to listen to something here, because 2,072 Americans gave up their citizenship in 2019 total, and this is the highest quarter on record. Previous record was 2,365 cases for the fourth quarter in 2016. Interesting. That was all of the people that were leaving the country that said that they would if Trump was elected, most likely. It seems that the pandemic has motivated these U.S. expats to cut ties and avoid onerous tax reporting. Well, interesting, though. Americans must pay a $2,350 government fee to renounce. I have to pay them to tell them to FO. So, and those based overseas must do in person at a U.S. embassy in their country. There are estimated 9 million U.S. expatriates. So what's really interesting is that under the IRS rules, every 3 months, the U.S. government publishes the names of all these. And it also states that you still have to pay your taxes. You have to pay taxes for money that you make in another country. Wow. Really? Who in the hell does this country think it is that it can do such things to people? Who does this country think it is that they can make laws or make orders in violations of the very foundation of the country they say works? If the Constitution could not withstand a pandemic, then the document was worthless in the first place. That's how that functions. So that's what they're saying right now. So make no mistake about it. There is no former Constitution. They've already destroyed it. Once you urinate all over it and you abuse the people and you do it and you watch the country voluntarily get behind it. Oh, it's for the greater good, for the greater number of people. The greater good for the greater number of people. Well, that's not how this functions, because freedom cannot be sacrificed. Our God-given rights cannot be sacrificed. Remember, these are not rights. When people say this country gave us free speech, that's a lie. This country didn't give you free speech. What they did is duped you into believing that they had the authority to protect your free speech. Now, if they have the authority to protect your free speech and you've granted them that authority, you've now also granted them the authority to reject your free speech, because you've given them what? You've given them authority over your speech by even allowing them to protect it. So when somebody comes to you and they say, hey, I want to offer you something, be careful what you accept. Be careful what you accept from anyone that they're offering you because it's nice. In this duality world and in this place that we live, we don't have that luxury of just ignoring something because we think it sounds good to us. You have the right to free speech. No one will ever stop this tongue from speaking unless you kill me. And I'm perfectly fine with that. I'd rather not live in your future world of whatever it is that you think you're building, but it's certainly not the Father's. It's not me. I don't believe it's any of you in this chat room or watching this video right now. And if it is, then you have to recognize, and you're going to be seeing today, that you've already sold your soul. You've already given it away. You are already Judas sacrificing Christ for 30 pieces of silver. Christ being in you, Judas is you. All of the apostles are archetypes. They're all different variations of what we will go through and things that we do. We will deny Christ 3 times. We will turn Christ over for 30 pieces of silver. We will doubt unless we feel the holes in the hands and in the side. We will do all of these things. So let me just play something here. Many of you may have already seen this, but I'm going to play a little bit of it. And this is an officer, and I'm going to explain this to you for this reason, because this is a law enforcement officer in the state of Washington, and he had an amazing speech to give about what was taking place. Now, keep in mind, we're enjoying the luxury of what we have right now because it's going to get worse. You can already see that it's going to get worse. In some places where we're at here in Arizona, it's actually remarkable that it is not, it's really a rather decent place to live. They've opened things up. Pretty well everybody here knows it's BS, with the exception of a few. You go into a store, you'll have 10 or 12 people with masks on. You'll have 45 or 50 people without. And none of the people with masks are saying too much to the people without masks. Not here, not in Arizona, because everybody's packing. The whole state, everybody's got a gun on their hip. It's like Old Town West here, the old Western town here in Arizona. So I'm going to play something here, and then we'll talk about it. Hold on one second. Let me restart that share so I can do sound. Great.
You know, as a police officer, I'm compelled to make this video. I've been in law enforcement for 10 years, and I'm speaking to my peers, other fellow officers, people in any kind of law enforcement position. I've seen officers nationwide enforcing tyrannical orders against the people, and I'm hoping it's the minority of officers but I'm not sure anymore, because every time I turn on the television, every time I look to the internet, I'm seeing people arrested or cited for going to church, for traveling on the roadways, for going surfing, opening their businesses, going to the park with their families, or doing nails out of their own house, using their own house as a place of business, and having undercover agents go there and arrest them and charge them with what? With a crime? I don't know what crime people are committing by doing nails in their own house, but we're seeing this more and more and more, and we need to start looking at ourselves as officers and thinking, is what I'm doing right? Now, I want to remind you that regardless of where you stand on the coronavirus, we don't have the authority to do those things to people just because a mayor or a governor tells you otherwise. I don't care if it's your sergeant or your chief of police. We don't get to violate people's constitutional rights because somebody in our chain of command tells us otherwise. It's not how this country works. Those are de facto arrests. You know, we're violating people's rights and taking money from them, or even worse, arresting them and depriving them of their freedom when they are exercising their constitutional rights. So let's talk about that. Let's read something right here off of the Declaration of Independence. All men are created equal. Among these, we have the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their power from the consent of the governed, meaning our power and any government official's power is derived from the people. Okay? We don't hold power over our citizens. It's contradictory to everything that our country stands for. And this is what I'm seeing. First Amendment rights, telling people they can't go to church, freedom of religion. Okay? Telling people they can't protest, freedom of assembly. Fourth Amendment violations, illegal traffic stops to check for papers. What are you, the Gestapo? Is this 1930s Nazi Germany? You don't get to stop people unless you have reasonable suspicion or probable cause that they have committed a crime. And I know people that have personally been stopped saying, we want to see papers showing that you're essential. That is not how our job works, okay? What really has been pissing me off lately is the fact that these officers that are going out here and enforcing these tyrannical orders, what they're doing is they're making my job and my safety, or they're putting my job and my safety at risk. Because what you're doing is you're widening the gap between public trust and law enforcement officers. And what that's going to do is it's going to, I mean, look at what's happened to law enforcement in the last 10 years. Less and less public trust, and more often than not, that is a result of isolated incidents that get blown out of proportion. Well, they're not isolated anymore. They're happening every single day. And the thing that I want you guys to realize is that our power that we hold as law enforcement officers is nothing more than a facade. It's a badge and a gun. And people, you don't realize, if you haven't lived in anarchy, if you haven't seen combat, things can be stripped from people in a heartbeat. And that's what I'm afraid of. I'm afraid that these actions are going to wake a sleeping giant, i.e. the American people, okay? They are going to be put in a position where they won't have their rights trampled anymore. And us as law enforcement officers, we'll have our ability to enforce the law stripped from us in about 10 minutes, okay? I think what is going to happen if this continues is we're going to see bloodshed in the streets, okay? I don't want to see bloodshed in the streets. on either side of this coin. I don't want to see fellow officers get injured or killed, and I certainly don't want to see citizens get injured or killed. And I promise you, most of you out there doing these tyrannical acts against our citizens, you're not ready for combat. You're not mentally or physically ready for combat in the first place. I promise you, you don't want to go through that, and I hope I never have to go through that again.
So I wanted to play that. I didn't play the entire thing. I don't think I need to, but it's really remarkable. I'm sitting here watching on, I'm watching you guys and watching the chat, and I'm listening to people say that this guy is some type of paid opposition to the other side. Well, let me tell you something. We would be considered paid opposition to the opposing side. The man is speaking as somebody with a moral compass. What could possibly be this man's agenda but to lose his job? And by the way, I have verified that he is a real guy. He actually does have children. He lives in my former state, and he is a police officer. He was a police officer in Los Angeles. He's a very well-liked guy, very well-liked in his department, and very well-liked with a bunch of people. In fact, some people that I know. So I can tell you right now, if you guys think that this guy is paid opposition, well, I'll tell you one thing. I'd like to pay a lot more opposition, because if more cops were speaking what he was speaking, we wouldn't have the tyrannical acts that are taking place, and we wouldn't be on the precipice of massive bloodshed in this country and in other countries, because it's coming. I'm apologize for the flies, because I am in a tent and I am outside. So I really can't control whether they come or go. I did zip it up, but unfortunately there were some already hiding in here. So, but I'm going to go to the next video here, because this is him now having a discussion about what took place afterward. So tell me if this looks like paid opposition.
Powerful message. We agree with that 100%. Well done. And that was actually a relief for me, because I was like, great, you know, I know that it's risky putting something out like that.
His commander told him, well done, great job, that was a beautiful video.
But I felt like it was so grounded in integrity and liberty that no one would have an issue with it. So that was a relief. And then fast forward 3 hours later, I get another phone call from my command, and it said, hey Greg, the video's up to 400,000 views. It's time to pull the plug on this thing. And I immediately, it kind of caught me off guard, because I said, why would we want to pull the plug on something that was already acknowledged as a good and powerful message from one law enforcement officer to others? And I said, yeah, that doesn't really make sense to me. I think maybe we should embrace this message and we should share this with other officers. And he said, listen, you know, it's not up to me. I have been directed to tell you to take the video down, and I need to know if you're going to take the video down. And I said, no, I can't take the video down, because if you listen to my first video, the whole message that I was trying to share with people and impart on them is, if you believe in something in your heart, you have to stand by that conviction, even if it costs you everything. And like I said last time, I have 3 little kids. I have this house. I have another house. I cannot afford to lose my job. But after putting that message out there and sharing that with America, and it was so well received, I can't then just say, even though that's what I believe, I'm going to take a step back, I'm going to retract my words, and I'm going to allow my command to prevent me from sharing my heart and my truth. And I said, so with that in mind, sir, I can't take the video down. And, you know, I didn't know where this was going to go. And I immediately started thinking about, what are they going to try and gig me on? You know, what did I do wrong? What policy did I violate? And I got called back a couple hours later, and by this time, it was skyrocketing. Everyone in the agency was seeing it. Cops from when I was an officer down in Los Angeles, they were contacting me. I got a call, and I said, listen, the video needs to be taken down right now, and you need to accept a letter of reprimand, or we're going to take a very different approach to this if you say no again. Well,
I've got to tell you how disappointed it is for me to read some of the ridiculousness in these comments. He's a Mason. He's that. He's this. He's that. This is the problem. This is your problem. Your judgments of others. Forget about what you think that person does. Even the person that is working for the cabal, they believe they're doing the right thing. This guy is showing more integrity than you guys sitting behind your desks and writing words in a chat box. The bravery you show. Oh, I'm touched. Get off your ass and do something. Speak, start your own channel, talk, say what you know, say what you think you know, and withstand the confrontation that we withstand every day. Withstand the confrontation that this man has withstood. I guarantee you there are hundreds of men in his department that despise him, and there are hundreds that love him. So for you to sit and cast judgment on these people, he's telling you the truth because we're watching it take place on a daily. So what kind of psyop is that? To make you see that the government is doing bad things when we already see it? You make 0 sense. Let me get back to the rest of that video. Boy, what a ridiculous thing, some of you guys.
I'd already put myself on that hill, and I had to be willing to die on that hill. They said they determined the video was a violation of policy, and that if I wouldn't take it down, that allegations would be made against me, and so on and so on. And so I told them, no, I'm not going to take it down. You do what you need to do. But the principle of it is rooted in truth, and it was a positive message that was received by millions and millions of people. If you want me to take it down, I have to respectfully refuse. And it was interesting because they kept citing different policies, you know, like, oh, it was the social media policy, or some of your equipment may have been identifiable. And that kind of seemed like a moot point to me, and it was strange because why was the message okay at 5 a.m. and then 3 hours later, there was a problem with it? And so I was later contacted by the chief of police. He's someone that I have great respect for. He's a good man to work for. And he's the one that shot me straight. And he said, Greg, if you openly defy your governor, you can't be a police officer in the state of Washington. And I told him, I said, you know what, I can respect that. And if I were in your office, I would shake your hand and respectfully disagree and say, maybe I'm not meant to be a police officer in the state of Washington then. And now I am on a administrative leave status pending termination. I was told by both the agency and the union that I was asked to take it down, and I refused. So that's refusing a direct order. It's an insubordination charge, and it will result in me ultimately being let go from the agency. And I said, you know what, if that's what you guys have to do, if that video is so bad that you want to take my career from me and you want to leave my, you know, like potentially take my ability away to provide for my family because of that video, do it. Because I'm going to stand by my convictions, just like I said in my last video. But, you know, I've always wanted to circumnavigate the globe on a sailboat, so maybe it's time to chase that dream. Anyways, I appreciate all the support, guys. Take care.
Finito, he's gone. Do you hear what I'm saying? Do you hear what I'm saying? Now, many of you OTLs are like,
Oh, Lucas, he broke the policy, he broke the...
Now I'm going to keep playing this because this guy is on it. And I also know that he's been in prison just because he says, miss me with that, because that's a prison slang.
guidelines. I mean, it is what it is. That's what it is. You play stupid games and win stupid prizes.
we're not talking to you because y'all are clowns. Y'all need to miss me with that nonsense. This is some bull crap, okay? Now, when anyone, I don't want to hear this for as long as I live. I don't want to hear it. When people talk about, well, Lucas, 90%, 99% of officers are good. It's the 1% are bad. How is that so, bruh? How is that so when the law that governs them doesn't allow that to be possible? How? You wonder why good officers don't speak up. Because you want to know what happens to them? Boop. Boop. That's what happens to them.
So I have to say this, I don't like police in general. In general, if you are a police officer, an overseer, as they used to call it on the plantation, they'd had to change it slightly so people didn't realize it. You are doing evil crap. Unless you don't uphold 95% of the laws you're supposed to, and if you did, you'd be fired like that guy. So I think that guy he got a learning lesson. He first went to Iraq to kill people, and it sounds like he kind of realized then it's not really what they said it was. He wasn't fighting for freedom. And then he tried to become a cop, and when he realized you couldn't actually follow your own morals, you had to be an order follower, which is what a cop is, he ended up getting fired. Now, the part that I really loved about what I saw there is as I was watching, I was thinking, man, we have to find a way to help this guy get a better job.
Well, he did get a better job. Let me see here 1 second. I want to make sure I'm still doing this. Very good. All right. So sorry it's so shady in here. I'll try to face the light, folks. I don't know what happened here. So let me say exactly. Now, I've seen some people commenting in the chat box saying, watch high impact vlogs, that this guy's bad. So this is the problem, folks. Just because people say things here on YouTube doesn't mean that you just take that and start judging somebody because, oh my God, somebody like me that you respect and like said something about that person. I would never tell you to judge that person based on what I say. I would say, listen to them, see what they do, watch their fruits, watch them. So I'm watching what this guy is doing. And if there is something bad that he has schemed in doing it, well, it's not a very good way about going about it, because what he's doing is demonstrating to you what somebody with an actual moral compass does. And understand that in this world of lawlessness, when scripture speaks of lawlessness, when it speaks that lawlessness will be everywhere, will it be you breaking the laws? Or will it be the government creating new laws that make you and your normal actions now illegal? So going outside or to the park or surfing is now illegal. So lawlessness is everywhere. Look at all of these people breaking the law. Well, let's just say somebody made a law that said blonde hair was causing COVID-19. What do you think they would do to everybody with blonde hair? Oh, and believe me, they will do things like that, except it won't just be blonde hair. They'll say all of these people are ill. They're all mentally ill. The virus must have actually damaged them. There is so much stuff going on. We could make 1,000 videos a day with all of the evidence we have. The problem is, the second we make them and post them up and actually show people being beaten by the police, show people being arrested for the most ridiculous things, showing people standing up and fighting the police, well, those get taken down within minutes. I've tried to post some videos and they were taken down before I could even finish uploading. The algorithms would see components of videos that I have and stop my download and say that my video can't be uploaded because it's violating policy. So it's now violating policy. Playing something, reading something from the CDC's own website, I've had removed. Reading something from WHO's, the World Health Organization's website, has got videos deleted. Not just mine, many people. So I want to make sure that everybody understands that when I talk about a rebellion and people think I may be espousing violence, I will never do that. That's their game. That's not ours. However, violence will come to us. They will bring it to us. So who are we and how do we react? Well, I can tell you right now that they won't have any mercy on you. Remember, Christ said, the Father desires mercy, not sacrifice. Oh, what do they want? They want sacrifice. They will have their sacrifice. And what they will do to the likes of us will cause even more violence from the people. The people are going to raise up against these people. The militias are in motion. They are gathered. They are moving. It is happening, folks. So you can sit and talk about this guy and this person and that person. I'm trying to prepare you for inevitable blood. There is blood coming. They are coming against these people, these states, these municipalities. See, they're doing these things. And this is why I'm going to get into this. The most dangerous thing, the brown shirts are coming. They're called contact tracers. And that's the next section of what I'm going to be discussing. So if you go to YouTube right now and you look up contact tracing. So let's just look at these search results here. Type in contact tracing, you're going to get CBS, Wall Street, Digital Trends, The Guardian, Bloomberg, MT Lincoln Laboratory, CNA, Global News, PBS NewsHour, The Verge, NBC News, Channel 4 News. You're not going to see anything created by content creators. You're going to see the likes of news channels like this one. Now, I'm going to play this because we're going to talk about the details of what they're actually saying that contact tracing is. So if you don't know, let me bring you back. If you don't know what contact tracing is when you've had contact with somebody that has been diagnosed with having COVID-19. Well, as we've seen, you can pretty well find COVID-19 on anything. You can test fruit or a dog or a bird or the tree, and COVID-19 will be there. So it isn't what we think it is. Just go ahead and grab a COVID-19 test like many people have all around the world, tests that were supplied to them by the CDC and WHO, and they test everything and it all has COVID-19. So what is it that they're trying to make illegal? Or what is it that they're trying to stop? It's not like they don't know this. They do. They know it's a complete ruse. However, they construct these things in threes. First stage, second stage, third stage. Look at every single pandemic in the world. There's always 3 stages, and they're always the same. And they're following the playbook from the Spanish influenza as we speak, just like Bill Gates said. They say these things to our faces, and everybody thinks, oh, this can't be happening. This isn't happening. Let me just bury my head in the sand. Let me just forget about this. Folks, if you went on the dark web and you were paying attention to what these militia are doing, and let me just remind you that this is one heavily armed country when it comes to the citizenry. And so I don't think that you're going to see your typical military weapons. Those are used as fear against you when they say, oh, well, look at this shock and awe we're going to do over here. That's also to keep you in check. When they show their military might, and look at us, don't think for one second that that's not there to intimidate you, to think, who could rise up against the beast? Who can challenge this beast? I got news for you. This beast is going to eat dirt. Period. If you doubt me, hide and watch. So let me play this and we'll talk about it.
Fixed. Getting back to normal and reopening the economy will require 3 key things: more testing to catch outbreaks before they get out of control, contact tracing to identify anyone an infected person came in contact with, and isolation to break the chain of transmission. Test, trace, isolate is the mantra.
Test, trace, isolate. Test them. They'll have COVID-19 if they don't like you, or you're undesirable, or you don't have a good job, or you're not the right person, or you're not in the right neighborhood, or you're not the right skin color, or maybe you said some things on YouTube that they don't like, or whatever. You're undesirable. You'll be tested. You'll be positive. You will be isolated. That's called jail. They won't be able to isolate you in your house because they need to really, really keep track of you. And you could just simply leave your cell phone. Things will get more restricted. Right now, they're going to trace you and track you. If you're diagnosed with COVID-19 and you go somewhere to a friend's house and those people have interaction with you for 15 or 20 minutes, they'll know it. And they will then contact those people. They will have contact tracers, agents. Listen to me here. Contact tracers that are agents. These municipalities and these states and the federal government is hiring hundreds of thousands of these folks right now. They destroyed all their jobs so they could force them to take another job as your future stormtroopers, your future brown shirts. This program has happened before in this fascist country that's always been fascist. That was always the idea, as the guy that we were just watching there with a dollar vigilante was pointing out. He was showing Abraham Lincoln sitting and what's he holding on his hands and what's on the side of Congress. What's this country founded on? Well, it's all founded on fascism. Look at the symbols underneath Abraham Lincoln's hands and before Congress. This is exactly what this country intended to do. But in order for them to build it up for what they needed to do, they needed to have a lot of people, a lot of slaves, a lot of people to build up what it was, to buy, to consume, to eat, to destroy. You buy a new thing, oh my gosh, it broke down. Don't bother fixing the part. Throw the whole thing away and buy a new one. People don't know how to build anything. They don't know how to fix anything. They don't know how to make anything. They don't know how to cook their own food. They don't know how to grow their own food. And they say, oh my gosh, how could I grow my own food? I have such a small yard. Well, why do you have a small yard? Because your job is there. Well, everything revolves in your life around your appetite or your need or your ambitions for money. This is exactly what Jesus was talking about. And this is how we are bent. So let me just try to illustrate this. Bent means wicked. If you start here on the straight and narrow and they've bent it, how far away are you from the straight and narrow thousands of years later? We don't even know how evil we are. We have no idea how evil the things that we have are. When you look at something, you look at products, look at the slavery involved in it. This is a time, this is what I believe has to happen at these times. This is a repentance time. This is for you to see clearly, not just how evil your government is and your country is, but how evil the systems that you've called good are. How much they've taken over what you and what your ambitions are, and how much of an impact does that have? It's kind of like people can get all upset and say, oh, well, we don't like those slave factories in China. Well, sure, you love them. You buy their crap all day long. Every day, you love them. You can complain about them. Oh, well, we don't like China. If I say I don't like China, but I continually buy this stuff, this is what I call fruit. This is the time of repentance. This is the time to really dig into yourself, to you. Because even though they made you do it, the really good news is it's not your fault. You didn't plan this. You didn't do this. Their lies brought you here. However, you are sovereign. You're a king. It's up to you to dump this stuff because you will take it with you, and you can't take it with you and leave this place. You don't go into your beautiful home. You want to talk about isolation. The disease that we have here right now on this earth is us. Sorry, tough to hear, but we're the only ones on this earth that don't know how to take care of ourselves with everything we've been given. A bird doesn't need to learn how to make a living. A squirrel doesn't need to learn how to find his food and to make his neighborhood good. He doesn't need a cop to be the person in between him and the other squirrel in the tree. He doesn't need that. Somehow everybody gets along and everything gets along except us. This is why we must have this time. We must have repentance. But the people that are building the next iteration of this, they don't have that in mind. They have oppression and slavery at levels you can't even believe they can do. And I'm going to read to you something here. Let me see if I can find it. I wasn't planning on reading this, but this is an interview by George Soros. I'm sure all of you love George Soros, right? Well, George Soros, if I can find this 1 second. Oy vey. So much on this desktop. I'm sorry. Well, no, I can't find it. But what George, what he says, I'll just give you a summary. He says that this pandemic has given us the ability to do things that would be inconceivable to the people prior to this pandemic. Well, now you know the motive. They need to be able to implement these draconian measures. They need to be able to justify locking you up and say, oh, they're putting everybody else at risk. This is how they divide you and themselves. This is how they separate the people so they can now eliminate the people they don't want. Or hopefully you'll all just kill yourselves and save them the job or the bullets. So let me watch the rest of this because it gets even more disturbing.
And it's the tracing part where the right to individual privacy collides with the need to protect public health. South Korea has led the world in successful contact tracing. As Jeff Semple explains, it's required some trade-offs not everyone is comfortable making.
South Korea offers a glimpse of a brighter future. Crowds returning to amusement parks, the movies, even the airport, as though the country just woke up from a strange dream.
아이들하고 가족들하고 함께 나와서
It feels great to be out with my family, he says. We are still cautious, but it looks like the containment efforts are going well. South Korea was one of the first and hardest hit countries by the COVID-19 pandemic. But after 2 months of strict social distancing, on Wednesday, it relaxed the rules.
Okay, so just going to let you know, they are using South Korea as a model. They have massive surveillance systems. Understand that what people are authorizing with this contact tracing for the greater good, for the greater number, is a surveillance system on a massive scale like you can't even comprehend. There is no privacy. They will know when you're in the bathroom. They will know when you're having sex with your spouse. They will know everything. And by the way, they'll be able to question whether you should be having sex with your spouse because she doesn't have COVID-19. You think I'm kidding? Believe me, if you're paying attention to the things that they're actually doing, not the things that the media is telling you, they're all full of it. You know that. We've proven that time and time again. I have many friends. Michaela Pereira from CNN. She's a friend of mine. Grew up with her in 100 Mile House, British Columbia. She has zero clue she's a robot. Zero clue. None. I have so many friends in the industry. The film industry, everywhere. No clue. They're oblivious. Reason why? They are 1000% attached to what they do. It is their God. They have become their own God for their own sake, for their own purpose, for selfishness. You're a king. Kings, where we come from, serve. We're lower than everybody else. We serve. That's why Jesus was washing the feet and said, you'll understand what this means later. That's how a king is truly loved, because he serves for real. For real, he serves his people. He doesn't stand on high and dictate and tell people, oh, I'm so much smarter and better than you. If you want to lead somebody and you want to be their king, the only way you can lead them is to show them what it is to love like a king. And then once they see that type of kingdom love, well, now the love that the world says is kingdom love doesn't fly. I promise you right now, the very definition of love, the very understanding of love, 99% of the population has zero understanding of it. That's how bent, that's how wicked we've become. So let's continue this, because what I'm going to be showing you here is that South Korea is the definition, is the model that they will be using. They're already doing it. They're already talking about what an amazing job South Korea has done. Why? Massive surveillance, unbelievable infringements of people's liberty and privacy. And oh, it's just so good. Look how beautiful it is. And everybody gets to go back out to the movies and do whatever they want, as long as you do exactly what they're told to do.
And since then, there have been almost no new cases.
The government had prepared. I think that's the most important thing.
Dr. Jerome Kim is the head of the International Vaccine Institute. He points to his country's outbreak of another coronavirus, MERS, in 2015, that spurred the government to introduce new emergency powers, allowing it to harness credit card records and smartphone GPS locations to track and retrace the movements of COVID-19 patients.
Although you're tracked, you're still anonymous. And it's really the government and...
You're tracked, but you're still anonymous? Really? Ask the people already being contact traced whether they're anonymous when somebody comes up and knocks on their door.
The people who might have been exposed who find out.
The anonymized data is used to identify hotspots and in smartphone apps to alert users about cases nearby.
Really don't do well with this. Oops, so that's the alarm.
During our interview, Lee's own smartphone sounded an alarm, alerting him that a COVID-19 patient had visited his neighborhood bar, called King Club Zero, at a specific time.
Oh my gosh. Now, let's say you have a business the government doesn't like. They'll send out notifications to all of your patrons saying that somebody had COVID-19 there and released it somehow in your place of business.
If you had a fever of 37.5 and weren't going to work and you knew that you'd been at King Club Zero, you'd go in for testing. And they probably would put you in isolation.
Similar apps have been deployed in more than 25 countries, from Australia to the UK. But what about Canada?
We're ready to go. We have a product that can be deployed in a matter of days.
Daniel Lee's Vancouver-based company pitched their contact tracing app to several provinces, including Ontario.
Unfortunately, we just...
And this is what I mean. This poor kid really just wants to help. But see, since he's motivated also by status and stature within his community and within his business and all of the things that motivate him, he will not see what they are doing, and he'll happily build it for them.
Didn't see the traction on the public sector side.
For the most part, Canada is still doing contact tracing the old-fashioned way.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Health professionals and volunteers calling a COVID-19 patient's contacts one by one.
Sound like that's anonymous? Calling their COVID-19 contacts one by one. Boy, that's my kind of anonymous.
So that we can connect with them, find out if any of them are symptomatic and get them tested. Otherwise, they need to be isolating, and that's the instruction we provide to them.
But that system is far from perfect.
First, I got the call from the hospital telling me I got positive.
This Vancouver actor tested positive and says health officials asked him for a list of his contacts.
And then I told her what I've been doing, went to the gas station.
But an employee at that gas station told Global News they never received a call from public health and had no idea a COVID-19 patient had been there.
It's going to require many people to be able to follow up with all of those positive tests. And that's a part where I think we're particularly vulnerable because no public health unit has the resources to do that right now.
A contact tracing app would automate that process, but there's a catch. Most of the apps on offer require access to a smartphone's GPS location, allowing the government to track a person's movements and sparking concerns over privacy.
Actually, they no longer need that to be activated anymore because Google and Apple have already admitted they're sharing it for every device, regardless.
If you know that as of tomorrow, the government has a trace on everywhere I've been and all the people I've come in contact with, you may not want to live in a country like that.
For a contact tracing app to be effective, studies suggest at least 60% of the population needs to opt in.
If you have large swaths of Canada that look at these applications with suspicion, that look at these apps as injurious to their way of living, they will not use them.
But a solution may be in sight. Google and Apple are now building a framework that will allow contact tracing apps on
Of course they are.
their devices to use Bluetooth technology. The Bluetooth signal would locate other phones nearby that are running the same app. So say you'd visited a restaurant and the person at the table next to you were to test positive, you'd receive an alert. But your data would be encrypted and never leave your phone unless you tested positive and consented.
Now, why would anybody be okay with that? Why? Because they're concerned about themselves. Oh my God, I'm so happy that they notified me that this guy has COVID-19. But we all know that COVID-19 is really not what they say it is.
Apple has walked me through on 2 occasions
Her name is Kevorkian.
all of what they've done in terms of the tech and the privacy preserving features and no geolocation data and everything. And so I can give my vote of confidence to it.
Now, you see that person right there? I checked, and she's from, she's this health professional, and she is recommending this tracer app. I wonder why she would do such a thing. It wouldn't be because she's on the board of directors of the company and they pay her, would it?
Download AB Trace together, turn on your Bluetooth, and make
Some apps, like the one released just last week in Alberta, already employ Bluetooth technology. But without software support from the tech giants, they've been plagued with problems.
Really, I think most serious app developers at the moment have to wait until Google and Apple implement their technical infrastructure in their smartphones.
The Google-Apple app support should be ready later this month, but most governments in Canada still have not authorized any apps to use the technology. Health experts warn the longer the wait, the greater the risk.
Okay, we're not going to continue playing that. I think you heard enough. When government and corporations are one and the same, which is what we have, the United States of America is a corporation. If anybody does not know that, it was incorporated. It is part of the banking system. We are part of a corporation, and you are an asset of that corporation. If you didn't know that, then maybe you should look and see what the backing for the United States dollar is. It's backed by the full faith and credit, the full faith and credit of who? You, the people of the United States of America. The full faith and credit of the people of the United States of America. This country, through its economic system, through its dollar, through all of that, just helping you understand who we are in this scenario, have enslaved everyone, every country, because of their appetites too. So we displayed our culture, begged everybody to be a part of it, and told them that they were stupid and ugly and dumb and not with the cool people unless you act like Americans, unless you act like these stars, unless you act like these TV people, unless you do things like them and act like them. Well, we've lured the world into this. We've done this. So the full faith and credit, the backing of the people, they will come because we've done that. We've allowed it. We are the system of support. When you understand how they have separated the government debt from the people's debt, you'll know the Federal Reserve has more than $200 trillion in debt. But yet the debt for this country is only $26 trillion or $30 trillion now, because when they give the people $2 trillion in a stimulus package that's $6.6 trillion, and they give the people $2 trillion of that, or $2 billion of that, that money, that billion, or those $2 trillion are applied to the people's debt. That's the debt of the United States of America, not the debt of the bank. The bank holds much greater debt over the people. We're the ones that give the Federal Reserve its power. It is a private corporation that we, the people, allowed through the monkeys in Congress to give them the authority to write checks to the American people on a bank account that has zero in it. Literally inventing money. It's called Babylonian magic. This is ancient. It was around. It was being implemented by Babylon during the days of Jesus, which is why he was kicking the crap out of the money changers in the church, in the temple. They were changing money from real value, silver, to now a currency that is worth jack. It's an invention of value, which was the coin that he said when they said, should we pay taxes to Caesar? Pay tribute. Tribute was the word. And he was like, render unto Caesar what is Caesar's, and render unto God what is God's. What is God's is real value. What is Caesar's is a lie. Give it back. We didn't hear that. We blindly followed the pastors in the way that they told us that Jesus meant that. Forget about, him building and braiding cords into a whip. I mean, people want to say that I'm violent. Hell, I haven't even gone into a bank yet. Wait till I do. And then you might be able to say that I was turning over some tables. But I haven't done that yet. So I wanted to, if you guys hadn't seen my videos, but I wanted to show you what impact all of this is having on people. So if you doubt these things and you doubt the recognition, the waking up of the world to their religions, to their doctrines, to their scriptures, to everything, listen to Doreen Dotan. Doreen Dotan is a Hebrew lady that lives in Spatin, Israel. You've heard her. We've had some, a couple back and forths with her where I really like Doreen, though. I believe that she gets this more. She has such a hatred for Christians because of Jesus. But as I've tried to say to her, you need to forget the idea of who you think Jesus is, because Jesus is not who the church has told you he is. He is not what the Romans and the Hebrews collectively did through the deception of Paul. People follow Paul. They don't follow Jesus. Paul tells you that the government and the police officers and all of them, they all work for God and do the duty of God in Romans 13. Really? Which God? Exactly. They do work for God, the God of this place, the God of this world. If you've forgotten, if you don't know that this world is governed by a God and it isn't our Father, that's why he offered Jesus everything in this world and what it is. I'll give it all to you. Just bow down before me. This is the promise for everyone. This is the Faustian bargain. The people that have money bow to him. Do you understand what is happening? The delineation between the Father and the people and their God is happening right now. The line is drawn in the sand. The divide has happened. Wake up, repent for real, like really understand what you've done and what they've done. And I'm not saying understand it and be shameful. I'm saying understand it and recognize that it isn't your fault. It's not yours to bear. It's not yours to bear. It's already been bared. That's the whole point. You don't have to go through it again. You don't have to suffer, even though it's suffering. We will suffer. But the difference is suffering without knowing why is true suffering. Listen to me again. Suffering without knowing why you're suffering is true suffering. Suffering when you know why, well, that purpose allows the suffering to be tolerated. Ask any woman that understands bringing the beauty of their child into the world. All of the pain they went through is worth it. Right up until they become teenagers. And then you'll start questioning that. So I hope that you understand that, but I want you to listen to Doreen Dotan. And the reason why is because this is a woman that has studied Torah and the Kabbalah and Talmud, all of it. She knows it all. She knows who they are. She knows gematria. She knows these things, and she believed in them. But she's coming to a conclusion right now. And this is why salvation comes from the Jews. Because people, even though I'm Jewish, they won't see me as Jewish because I don't live in Israel. Not them. Only Jews live in Israel. They've been called back to Israel, according to the Ashkenazis, the Jewish converts. So, but let me help you listen to what she says here. Because what she's realizing is that not only has she been lied to and manipulated, but the Torah that she believes is true might have been manipulated as well, and that she doesn't have access to the real Torah. Now we're getting somewhere. But let's listen to Doreen.
We have been enslaved, we Jewish people, by very clever Jewish people. Nobody likes to admit that they have been bamboozled, especially by those they trusted. Nobody likes to think they're bamboozleable. We all like to think that we're above being able to be brainwashed. Having taken years to comb the nits out of my own brainwashing one by one, I can tell you that I don't think I'm too terribly stupid, but we can all fall for it, and it gets in deep. And it's a frightening thought. So one has to have the humility to be able to admit that we've been duped, and have the courage to rebuild ourselves once we've realized that. Not give up and not say, where do I go now, to know that this is the time for rebuilding. It's terribly difficult for a Jew to realize that everything that we thought we knew was Torah is to be called into question. That some of it will, upon examination, reveal itself as true Torah, and much of it will not.
Did you hear that?
Having been through this process, I can tell you that it is very difficult and challenging, intellectually, emotionally, morally. It is of the utmost essence that we do this, like it or not. Many texts with which we are familiar and which we cherish to be genuine and authentic have in fact been edited. A number of very, very brave rabbis have spoken out about this. Rabbi David Bar Chaim is one. Rabbi
She's naming people. Uh-oh.
Sassi Boron is another. They have been meticulously trying to find the unedited original texts.
Unedited original texts. Wow. Okay, we won't focus on that much more. I think you heard enough. She's realized that the very Torah that she went to Israel and went to all of the rabbis to study Torah. The things that she was shown to study and told was true Torah is a lie. Think about the gravity of the lies. Think about how those lies being bent, wicked, have manipulated where we're at. They have used Jesus against her. She hates Jesus, but she also talks about Christ and the Messiah. She'll say Mashiach, right? In her, that the Mashiach rises up in her. I'm like, Doreen, you're this close. You're this close, my love. That close. She's almost there. She will rise up. I'm telling you, these people, the ones that have passionately dedicated their life to knowing God through Torah, and they're finding out they were lied to, oh, there is going to be hell to pay. And if you ask Satan, hell always collects. So I wanted to tell you guys something about something that we're doing here. First of all, we've been unbelievably blessed. And the more we're blessed, the more we're attacked. So we've been incredibly blessed by just remarkable supporters. I can't say enough about them. It's humbling beyond humbling to me. We needed a truck to pull our trailer. We got a truck. We needed a place to live. We have a place to live. We have everything we need. We need food. We need to eat. Because supporting what we do, and believe me, these people know how much more we do, not just here on video. We talk and work with a lot of people, and it's exhausting and it's draining and sometimes very difficult, because you yourself know that we all go through different types of experiences, and it's very, very difficult. And so lots of suicidal people, many different problems, lots of drug problems, everything. But for the most part, the most remarkable thing about what has been done here with this channel, with this gospel, with this message, is that people have freed themselves from drugs, freed themselves from prescription drugs, psych meds, and they're better off and they're fine. And they've been without them for years now because of listening. I didn't tell anybody to stop taking prescription meds. They did that on their own. Why? Because when Christ rises up in you, the answers come to you through Christ. Christ is you, your higher self, where you're from, because where we're from, we're all one person. We're all one body. We are not separate. We came here so we could be separate. And that was an enticement that we paid a heavy price for. So I wanted to tell you what we're doing here, because obviously the amount of censorship is ridiculous. Now, many people have gone over to BitChute, and I have a BitChute channel. So if you go to BitChute, search, I haven't uploaded all of the content yet, but go there, subscribe, go to bitchute.com, find me, just type in Global Witness and you'll find me, subscribe. Go to my Twitter, get everywhere you can be. So when these things start going down, you'll be able to find out how to get into the Global Witness VPN. And I'm going to tell you what the Global Witness VPN is, and explain to you why this is going to be important, because it's not just about BitChute and people taking that down, because the entire site can be taken down for different reasons, not content, but sites will be taken down as far as you won't have access to them through DNS blockages and exchanges, where they will block those sites from being accessible in the country, just like China does, just like South Korea does, just like North Korea does, just like Russia does, just like Israel does. They block sites that they don't want you going to. They block websites in this country. You don't know it, but they do. So if you do a little bit of studying on what DNS is, you can change the DNS address and you'll get different DNS results. So when you do a search on if you type in a website, if you type in piratebay.org or something that has been blocked in this country, I think piratebay.org is now back up, but it doesn't quite do the same thing. but they eliminated those. So when you typed in piratebay.org, it wouldn't find it. So it doesn't render back to the physical address, which is a number, not a name. The DNS allows that translation. Global Witness VPN, and what a VPN does, now lots of VPNs are out there. 0 VPNs do what this VPN does. 0, none of them. Because a VPN is essentially a virtual private network. That's what VPN stands for. A private network, a corporation. When I worked at Microsoft, I would basically connect through my security key on my laptop, and I would connect to our intranet that has thousands of sites that run the company internally. These are internal sites. They're not accessible to anybody on the outside, and they're not regulated by anybody or any laws on the outside. They're regulated by the corporation. And nobody can go into the corporation's private network unless they're part of that corporation, unless they participate in that corporation. Well, I just took the corporate aspect and said, if you ever want to defeat these people, you have to live where they live. They all incorporate in Delaware. I incorporate in Delaware, because if they take their company down, they have to take mine down. If they want to take mine down, they got to take theirs down. So if they want to change the rules for my corporation, they have to change the rules for their corporation. That's not going to happen. So the VPN itself, the Global Witness VPN itself, is a virtual private network and intranet. I will have my own YouTube inside the VPN. So you'll get to it just by being connected to the VPN. And when you type in Global Witness, not .com, just Global Witness into your browser, it will pull all of the site and all of the content from inside the corporate network, the VPN. Also, chat, anything that we have behind the firewall of the VPN is ours, never theirs, and never subject to any public law, because it's a private network. It's not just about protecting your IP address and where you're at. It does everything that every other VPN does, except everything will be behind this. And here's what I'm offering. Sorry about the dogs. And here's what I'm offering with this VPN, because we're building this. It'll be done in about probably 3 weeks. We will be adding components to it, but behind the scenes, there is a very big build going on. And this build allows us to put these things on and white label this VPN. So Leak Projects, he's going to have his own VPN. It will be on the same system, but it will be a separate setup. So all of his content will be there. However, we'll have like Dana Ashley VPN. We'll have all of these different VPNs, but all of those VPNs behind the scenes will also share the content and the tools. So anybody that's on the Leak Project VPN will also be able to access the content on Global Witness, and the content on Dana Ashley, and the content on High Impact Vlogs, and the content on Dollar Vigilante. All of these sites, or Oppenheimer Ranch, or any of these people, just none of the people that wouldn't be helpful. If they're not helpful, they won't be there. If they're not truthful, they won't be there. If they like the other guy and they still are all about voting and politics and who's president and all of that, they won't be there. These will be people that are awake. This network will be of people of like mind, of one accord. And all that content cannot be taken down. And I promise you that when and if it does, when I say taken down, they just destroy servers. There are no things that are absolutely safe. The difference is about extending our time that we will be able to communicate. That's all I'm concerned about, extending our time that we can communicate. Because right now, I could make 1,000 videos a day with evidence beyond recognition of things. But the videos get taken down so quickly, I can't even show you certain videos that I would like to be able to show you. I can't even talk about them, because they'll take us down. They'll take this video down. So I navigate their algorithms, and I know how they function because I test them constantly. I'm always figuring out what those algorithms do. And I can tell you right now, there isn't anything that they aren't censoring. And I mean everything. And they are censoring it not on behalf of YouTube. They're censoring it on behalf of the government, because there are things YouTube wouldn't even care about, but the Fed does. Why would YouTube take something down that I say about a bank? But they do, unless it's their bank that owns them. So obviously, we all know that this is not a very fun situation. And We know that it's going to get bad. We know that it's going to get worse. And I feel for everybody out there, but understand, for anybody that receives my passion as I'm going to start a violent uprising, we don't have to start anything violent. The violence will come to us. How we react is key. How I will react is I'll stare down the barrel of their weapons and say, you better pull that trigger. Pull the trigger. And that takes a little bit of chutzpah. That takes this heart, understanding your moral compass, understanding that you will refuse to live as a part of that system. I've dumped my former self for my higher self. Sometimes they still come together and they do battle. That is our spiritual battle. Your higher self is going to guide you. That is Christ. That spirit will guide you. It isn't some other spirit. It's you. And when you deny your own spirit, Christ, well, you look like, as an example, anybody that knows Jeff Doherty watched him when he denied Christ, who he was before and who he is now. Two different beasts. You watch the soul die. Only they can take it back, and sometimes they're beyond that. It depends on what they're motivated by. It depends on who is influencing them. We should never allow anybody to influence who we are. Who we truly are is who we truly are. The Vesica Pisces is about making another person think like you. It is the sickness of the world. It is the beast system. Making someone else think like you. This is the problem that we have right now. If you don't think or believe like somebody else does, they're offended. This is why Jesus said, blessed are those who are not offended by me. That's a big statement. So let me go to some of you guys here. I brought you in. I'm going to, it's good to see Relentless Maverick in the house. So I'm going to bring on Mav and see what Maverick has to say. Hey, Maverick, I brought you on. Are you, let me see. Let me bring you in here. I did. I tried to. Let's see what happened. Oh, there's so many names. I'm sorry. This takes a little bit longer than, hold on. Where'd you go? There you are. Maverick, you are unmuted. Can you hear me?
Breaker 19. Welcome to Relentless Maverick. Can you hear me now?
I hear you now. I just had to put my headset on because the voice doesn't come through the speakers. How you doing, Mav?
I'm doing awesome, Derek. Can you see my face?
I can't see your face. I just requested video. Do you see a...
I see it. Hold on right here. Okay.
Don't see you yet. We're waiting for it to come in. Hold on.
Hi there.
There. Oh, now there's the face.
Let's get this game going, baby.
That's a perfect face. Well, I'm not wearing the gold mask yet. So, folks, just because he's got a gold mask on doesn't mean I'm wearing the gold mask, because those of you that are in the know what me wearing a gold mask means. So,
that's
no, I'm
why
not.
it's a gold one. This one's curled. This one's silver, my brother.
Oh, silver. Okay. Well, it kind of looks like
Because
it's got
you
a
have
gold.
a gold one. I didn't buy the gold one. I got a silver one.
All right.
Particularly.
So, hey, hey, Mav, what do you think? I'm going to just let my beard grow and my hair grow, and we'll see. I'm going to look like some old, long bearded hair man before you know it.
Hey, listen, man. Listen, brother. I'm with you on this thing. So listen, and I want to say this. I appreciate what you're doing, because this has to be said. It has to be done. Somebody has got to come along and make clarity of what is going on here. Now, this mask is representative, and I know Derek has spent a little time explaining this, but this mask is representative of something much larger than any one individual or one individual's opinion, or even the suffering that one individual might suffer through a circumstance that we are now currently in. Now, in case nobody has noticed, The world has shut down. The economy of the world has shut down. The supply lines of the world has shut down. They're talking about going door to door now and swabbing your nose to find a volcanic particle. It's called ultramicroscopic volcanism, okay? This is silica. There's silica in the air. Now, if you don't know what I'm talking about, go to Relentless Maverick channel and eat up about 5 or 10 of the past videos that I put up for 2 months. Now, Derek, I want to say thank you for inviting me. And this is a conversation about tracing, and it's also a conversation about humility, and it's a conversation about self-awareness, and it's a conversation about self-determination and integrity and credibility and honesty with yourself, not with others, because we lie to people all the time. We smile at someone when we don't feel like smiling. Now, if you can tell me that you don't smile when you don't feel like smiling sometimes, you're lying to yourself and me too at the same time. So we all make assessments of our world around us. And because we have become so lazy and complacent about the technology and what it has given us, we have avoided making the corrections to our own freedom over a very long period of time. Now, that's called complacency. Now, nobody wants to admit that they've been duped. That was a very valuable video because you see how dramified she was. Well, this is her accepting her own failure to understand the world around her. And like Derek says, it's not our fault. It isn't our fault that our parents were duped. It's not their fault they were duped. This is a 2,000, 3,000-year-old program that has not failed. It is articulated over time and correction, time and time again, like a cyclical thing. It's gotten better every time. Now,
Hey,
the
Matt,
reason that
Matt, pull your mask up so we can hear you better, and so when people go to your channel, they know it's you when you get there.
Yeah,
But
okay,
there will be a time for that mask, and I'm going to explain more about that. But keep going, Matt.
Yeah, I wanted to, and I wanted to make everybody see that I'm participating in that Guy Fawkes arena, because that thing, if you haven't learned about Guy Fawkes, you probably do yourself a favor to understand the context of which that mask actually is generated and what it means. And what it means to me, and this is all part of the program, is my right to be alive in this season on this rock that nobody can dominate or say or have judgment over my life on this rock. These are these God-given rights that the country or the legislature or the government or the left or right paradigm doesn't give us. Those are things that I have, like Derek has and Butterfly has and you have, and we all have those inherent rights. I'm not going to take a shot. You're not going to stick me with a vaccine. 23% of the United States alone, just 23% of the United States, which is a cumulative amount of over 60 million people, like Derek says. What are you going to do when 60 million people say, no, I don't think so? I'm not doing that with 60 million, okay? Now, when you got 60 million that say, I don't think so, and you got 180 million that say, yeah, I think so, what you're going to have is a massive problem because they're going to be threatened. Their psychology is threatened. Yep. They literally think this is a life-threatening situation. So they are in it for life. And we, in turn, not being the aggressor or being the offensive side, we're going to have to protect ourselves from their unreasonable assessment of the reality around them. They're going to attack us as Christ was attacked. It's exactly the right view of it.
Well, you know, Mav, you and I've talked over the past few days, and you were talking about. And let me just go back to the mask part, because I just want everybody to understand who Guy Fawkes was and what his whole purpose was. King James and Sir Francis Bacon were in Parliament, and they were rewriting the Bible to enhance their kingdom. Guy Fawkes didn't like that. It was the day of gunpowder and treason, because he was being treasonous because he was going to blow up his country's own parliament because of what they were doing. They ended up hanging him. Just another Christ character that was killed because he was doing exactly the thing that he was supposed to do. He had a moral compass. He knew exactly what was going on, and he knew that he would never live in a country that did that. Well, they killed him, so he didn't get to complete that. Parliament is still there, unfortunately. And I say unfortunately because the symbol of that thing being destroyed is kind of like if somebody blew up the Statue of Liberty. What kind of statement would that be? It's a country of liberty. You have a Statue of Liberty there. Never mind that the Statue of Liberty, if you even look at the details of the Statue of Liberty, is Ishtar, right? Easter. Yeah. This Masonic Luciferian ass country built by the Masons that have established satanic components in the guise of Christianity since the Romans did that. And they've continued. And just to help everybody understand that Guy Fawkes blowing up Parliament, I'm not saying to go blow anybody up. No, it wasn't. That these are people that stand up for egregious errors of morality at levels that would bring a person to that. How many people are killed for money? Millions. Those are the ones that get the recognition because they were killed for some money. The people that are killed for actual principle, let me tell you something. All the people in Iraq that our soldiers killed for money. All of the people in Afghanistan killed for money. All the people that we have killed in these wars killed for money. Everybody is starting to recognize that there are no accidents. There are no pandemics. There are no 9/11s. There are no holocausts. A holocaust means burnt offering. There are no holocausts without somebody needing a burnt offering. Who needs a burnt offering? Well, I don't know. Jesus said your father is Satan. Why would he say such a thing? Because that guy needs burnt offerings. That's why he said about my father, he desires mercy, not sacrifice. That's why all of the prophets were killed, because they said, the father doesn't enjoy your burnt rams and bulls. Stop. He doesn't delight in those things. Do they care? No, because that's not their father. They kill the prophet that actually has touch with the Father. They kill us that have touch with the Father. They kill us for that. And that's why this is called the crown virus or the coronavirus. They're putting an end to that God because their God is returning, the God of this world. Trust me, when scripture says you will look upon this man and say, this is him? That's the guy that did it? Oh, yeah. Watch. You've made him a little guy with a pitchfork and a ponytail. He's far superior than you think he is. That don't mean he's good. Just because, you know, it's remarkable. And this is what I'm saying about the language, Mav. Nobody hears this. This is why I enjoy talking to you. Is that people hear like Apollyon and they read the Bible and they say, oh, I believe the Bible. But they'll say, oh, Apollyon is the devil. I go, wait a minute. How is Apollyon the devil when Apollyon is the one with the keys to the bottomless pit that is sent from God? How do you work that? God sends Apollyon, but somehow Apollyon is the devil? And that's bad. They say, oh, this is awful. Well, understand that this is all part of it. This is part of it, that we don't get to determine anymore what is right and wrong. We've sacrificed that ability because we've proven that we do not know what is right and wrong. We do not know what is good and evil. We have no clue, zero clue. All we know is what offends us morally. Now we get to the real law. This is why Jesus never accepted their laws. They go, oh no, he said to accept them. No. Listen to the words, folks. You've been taught wrong. Jesus said, your law says that. Yeah. Not mine. Your law states. Your law says this. He used their laws because they are so focused on their laws, which they make at will to oppress the people like we're seeing right now. All of a sudden now it's illegal to surf by yourself.
This is a really, I want to be compressed. There's a lot of people that have a lot to say, and I'd like to hear a lot that other people have to say. This is going to be really a juicy part of this, but I want to just, let me bring everything back to a central component. I want to appreciate all the YouTube creators that are still putting up content. I know that, and on your behalf, that when you're close to the truth or you're hitting on something that's relative to the truth, that the YouTube platform is just holding and suppressing all the videos. I know that from my own channel for several years now. That's the way it is. And anybody that's still putting YouTube videos out and fighting the fight to get their content in the recommended. See, if you're not putting them up, you won't get recommended. You have to overburden the system with videos in order to even get out at a very small measure. So when creators are being witnessed or seen in the recommendations, that's because they're working overtime over here just to have a small voice in an overwhelmingly censored environment. That's what we're doing in YouTube. It's become almost impossible to get some uploads loaded and to make YouTube live streams even flow. I'm surprised this is rolling this long, Derek. But the other side of what I wanted to focus on is what they're trying to stop us from doing is Derek has a pretty large voice. I have live streams, I have a little voice, but Derek's got a larger voice. And this consensus, it's the same thing they did in Christ's time. They didn't want the people to get together to have a conversation, to dialogue about the reality that each person in their vesica Pisces is on the ground in the three-dimensional form actually experiencing. If we can share our real 3D experiences in a collective here, then we build an intellectual consensus of reality. And that reality, this is where the rubber hits the road and the argument and the bloodshed is going to come, is when the people that have your belief structure is fundamental. You won't change what you believe when you believe it. You're not going to change what you believe. So there is a large group of people that have a psychology that's believing way over there. COVID mask, the COVID fear, the COVID whole narrative. And
Well,
then
hey,
you
Matt,
have the other people.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead. I've got Trevor Peters on, which I wanted to hear from Trevor when you're done.
Okay, so the other half of that thing is going to be, hey, we're not buying the COVID lie, and that's going to precipitate the civil unrest that Derek's speaking about. But I want to say, keep coming back. The thing works if you work it. Go to Relentless Maverick. This is a shameless plug, but it's about getting past broken and a way to overcome hurts, hang-ups, habits, acute depression. That's why I love Derek, because his message and mine are exactly the same, but with a little different dialogue and a little different approach. I love you guys, and thank you, Derek. I'm listening in the background. Go ahead and give it to Trevor. Thanks.
Awesome. Well, hey, Trevor, let me unmute you, Trevor. Hold on. There you are, unmuted. So, Trevor,
hey, Derek.
How you doing?
Doing excellent. Thank you for having me on. I really appreciate it. Much love and favor, and very gracious. Got a chance to meet you out in the desert, and I've just been so blessed to be a part of this movement together with everyone.
Oh, I appreciate that. I remember your face. I remember you. I remember meeting you.
Well, thank you for being the voice for all of us, Derek. We may not be as loud and voluminous as you. I'm also known as Source Frequency on YouTube, and I comment quite a bit on some of your work. I have something on my heart that I wanted to share, and I believe this may be the platform to be able to help a lot of people with. A good friend of mine, Randy Matthews, he's known as the Ramblin' Randy radio show on YouTube, has created something for you YouTubers that is uncensored and usable for you guys, for us to be able to give value to you on that platform. And I want to get in contact with you directly somehow or another. I guess I'll send you an email, dbros@gmail.
Yep. dbros@gmail or the Global Witness at Proton Mail.
Because I watch Relentless Maverick too, and you guys really speak from the human experience wholeheartedly. And I find myself humble in hearing the words that you guys express to us. And it really allows me to, have hope for humanity, because we, as a people, we can't stand to this tyranny anymore.
No.
We've been born for something great. We chose to come during this time for this experience, to be a part of it.
Sure. If
And-
you're here, I've said, if you're here on Earth right now, if you're alive right now, I don't care whether you're 2 or 100, you're supposed to be here right now. This is a very specific time. There is no accident for not a single human being here. Now think about this. We have, 7.5 billion people on planet Earth. I would say that probably almost every soul is present today. Every original soul is present today. The Ancients of Days, when I read scripture and I hear about the Ancients of Days and these people, we don't know who we are. As this veil breaks, we're recognizing. Now imagine this. Let's just say that you, Trevor, are your higher self of who you really are, not here in this compressed 3D BS duality system, binary system, in order to reduce us down to this 3-dimensional aspect, but you that lives in a 7th and 8th and 9th dimension. Imagine what you could possibly look like. Imagine the powers and the strength that you have. Imagine who you are. You don't know it yet, but imagine when that veil breaks and you've got all that access to all that power and who you are. I wouldn't want to be on the opposite side of you.
Well, I wouldn't need anyone to be on the opposite side of me, because at that level of experience, the only thing that I will be able to express is love.
That's the point, is that when you're that massive, now actually love can be expressed. See, the way that this world works, it's kind of like when we watch these cops harassing and arresting this woman for just protesting in Australia, cops harassing and arresting people from protesting and being on a beach and or beating them up. This lady that got body slammed by this cop in Walmart on her head, knocking her unconscious. She has brain damage because he body slammed her. You got 25 people standing around doing nothing. Zero. Now,
I'm not the type of person to stand beside. I would have done something.
Well, this is the
because
whole
it breaks
point.
my heart to see something like that.
Well,
know?
this is the whole point. Nobody wants to engage in that, but nobody is going to withstand watching their loved ones and other people that they do love be beat. Now, the strength in love that comes, here's where I say that this happens, is when people don't act out of ego or they're brawn, but there are protesters that have gone to some of these things. So like the lady that they ultimately ended up arresting, they didn't arrest her when they first came, but when she opened up her salon, she's out of jail now. But what happened is when the cops first came, there were some men that came with weapons. And all they didn't point the weapons at the officers. All they did was look at them and say, don't touch her. Do not touch her. And guess what? They didn't. Because just like that officer was saying in the other video, the badge and the gun is the illusion. Equalization of that power. When people begin standing in defiance of that and say, your authority is crap, because guess what? They've proven their authority is crap. When lawlessness prevails, as scripture says, the lawlessness are the laws that they make that are impossible for you to not violate, because they are human aspects that they've made illegal. Going to the beach, right?
Yep, exactly. As Masonic filled as it is, our Constitution here in America was written for the freedom of the people, all humans on this very planet. That's all we've got.
Yeah.
If we can't uphold the Constitution,
hang in there, John. We're getting to you next.
I will go ahead and step off of this platform, my soapbox here. But the voice that I want you guys to have is our support. We can do it monetarily, penny, nickel, dime, quarter at a time. With the hundreds of thousands of subscribers that some of these channels have, that could really make a significance. Sean, SGT report for one, Dave, X22 report, another guy, Rex Bear, Leak Project. Randy Matthews is actually really good friends with Rex Bear. So yeah, we all need to link up and get back up. You guys need backup. We're here for you.
Well, thanks. Man. I appreciate that. And I know Rex rather well. We talk often well, not often in the last few months, but we do speak, and we are planning on speaking here in the next few days, and I'll give him a call.
Ask him about Ramblin' Randy. He's got some stories. I can't say anything on here.
I've watched Ramblin' Randy before. I appreciate it, man. And we're going to go over to John right now. Thanks so much, Chuck, for joining us, man. Love you much.
Love you too.
So, John, let me unmute you here. I'm anxious to hear from you. Your face looks familiar. I don't know whether we've ever met before, but you look familiar. And we're going to get to you, Steve M, in just a minute. And Samsung S. I'm not sure who Samsung is.
Hi, Derek. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, John. Thanks so much for joining. What's on your mind?
I guess I could probably ask you questions for a long time, but I just wanted to say thank you, because watching your videos has changed a lot in me. And I guess maybe in the beginning, watching your videos, I kind of got a little skeptical because just so much confusion. Everything in this world is confusing to me now. And then for some reason I was led back and I started watching them again, but I go back and I understand things that I didn't understand before just from watching you again. But one question I was really wanting to understand, I'm a little bit nervous because I've never been on here before.
Don't be nervous. Don't be nervous, John. You're good, man.
There's
only 650 people watching you.
Okay.
Right now. There'll be a few thousand by the end of the day, but you're all good, man. Don't worry about it.
Okay. Well, I guess the more the better, right?
Absolutely.
But so I never really read the Bible, to be honest with you, until watching you. And so I started praying to the Father, please help me, because I've never been a reader. Honestly, I've never. If I had to do a book report in school, I looked for the shortest book. I didn't even read it. I read the back of it and tried to do a report off that. Anyways, and here I am reading the Bible and asking the Father to push me along. Awesome. And it seems to be working. But I sent you a message about, I woke up at like 3 a.m. and in my mind, I just thought, does the Father still love, I'm going to call it, I guess, Satan, the enemy, the God of this world. And I guess I kind of probably already knew the answer, but you sent back to me about yes, and the Father of all love, and find the good. And inside I feel like I don't want anybody to have to go to hell. I wouldn't want to see anybody go. And reading Revelation, in the back, it talks about the 144,000 souls. And in my mind, reading it, I was like, oh, does that mean that there's only, out of everybody here, that's only 144,000 that are going to be saved? And then I was watching a video. You were talking to somebody, I can't remember what his name was, but you said that the souls had been split, and in the end that we would be drawn back, I guess, to complete the soul. Could you just maybe
sure, if I had my whiteboard and some of the pictures set up, I'd be able to show you in greater detail. But if you look inside the Great Pyramid of Giza, you'll see starfish all over the walls. These things are extruded carvings or moldings. However they did that, we really don't necessarily know exactly how they built some of these things. But you also look at the ancient scriptures and how it speaks of the souls and this soul farm, so to speak. They use different language. I try to bring that into the language that we can understand. That's why people wrote different versions of the Bible. That's how they justified it, because the words were no longer part of our lexicon anymore. We didn't understand what they meant. And when you go back and you start reading these ancient scriptures where they speak of a soul being here and being there all at the same time, and that I can actually be you, and you can actually be me. We can be of the same literal soul, that I have souls that are attached. This is where the original prophets would begin to speak and say, well, this is what your sheep would be when Christ says that. My sheep will hear my voice, because they're literally part of my soul. And so This
Sorry,
is where
did
that comes from. So if I make it, everyone that is with me makes it. If you make it, everybody that is with you makes it. Because you are that person. The significance of bringing that out, you bring them with you because you did. So it's not everybody. This is literally why they will kill millions of people. Read scripture when they knew that something had happened, right? There was some awakening and there was some special time that a child was born. Let's just kill all the males just to make sure we stomp that shit in the bud. Right? That's exactly what that's what they want to do. They want to stop the originals. They want to stop the one that can salvage the rest. So this is where you're saved by a Jew. Even if you don't think you're a Jew, even if you have a different understanding of who the Jews are today, because as Doreen Dotan was saying in this video, everything that she knows is complete crap. So this is what I've been saying, is that everything that we've been taught today, this is why I went back to 40,000-year-old scripture, because all I had to know is, hey, wait a minute, we found scripture that's 40,000 years old. We found text that's 40,000 years old. And the text here in this Torah that they're telling us, and they're telling me that we've only lived for 6,000 years. Well, seriously, people have been around for 6,000 years. So the pyramids and all these things that we know are significantly older. We automatically know that we've been lied to a degree. So once you enter yourself, once you can contact your higher self, once you're speaking to the Holy Spirit, which is literally you in a different realm, that's why the Holy Spirit speaks to you. And that's why the Holy Spirit can compel you to do something, because it's you telling you to do it. This is the power of that spirit. It isn't some other demonic entity. And you know it by its fruit, by what it knows about you and what it produces in you. You know it's not evil because it produces fruit in you that defies the world, and you know to be good. When I'm feeding somebody and I don't even know their name, and I'm sitting with them on the ground and talking about them, I have no idea where they're homeless. I sit and have a conversation because I just feel compelled to talk with them. And they hear me. And the reason why I feel compelled to talk with them is because my spirit is prodded. Why? Why is my spirit prodded to talk to that guy? Well, maybe I'm supposed to talk to him to help him out. Maybe it's because he's actually me. And this is why when I was in prison, I would always look at everybody and I would say, they would, think, oh, you think I'm an asshole or something. I'd say, I won't judge you. I'm terrified to judge who you are. I am terrified to say that you're slime, because when this veil breaks, who might you be? Oh my gosh, if I condemned you to hell and you're actually part of me, I'm in deep doo-doo. I'm in deep trouble. I do not want to judge another man. I don't know who they are, but I can tell you one thing. We do know when they've sold their soul. And that's exactly what these people are doing. It's amazing. I should have played this. Let me see if I can find this very quickly, because he had these on. These are, listen to these officers. These are Canadian officers in coming into somebody's house to try to arrest them and to justify their arresting of them because they had gone out. So let's watch this really quick.
Protect. You're really hot, and just to let you know, I'm here to protect you. The reason why I watch.
Hold on one second. Let me get the sound properly here. This is actually, listen to what these officers say. I'm just doing my job. I get paid to do this. We're all slaves to a system. Otherwise, we can't. They literally say it. It's terrifying that these people are still willing to come in and abuse you, saying the things that they know. It's like right in front of our face. It's literally on their tongue. And they're willing to harm another person. They're willing to arrest a lady and to have her kid traumatized for life because she's wearing a sign and protesting and she went outside. I mean, this is insanity.
That is crazy.
It's for the greater good for everybody. And it's complete crap and it's a lie. So this is how you know. Let me play this, because this, I couldn't believe these officers were saying this.
Take you there is to protect you guys, to make sure that you're safe.
If we ignore that, we would be held accountable. Because we've sworn to do this.
But then you would not lose your soul.
I believe we're all slaves for the system.
See, he said, the guy tells the cop, this is what I'm saying. He said, what, you're going to lose your soul.
We're not anymore.
Did you hear what he said? We're all slaves. Listen to this. Hold on.
Yes.
To protect you.
You're in handcuffs.
And just to let you know, I'm here to protect you. The reason why I want to take you there is to protect you guys, to make sure that you're safe.
If we ignore that, we would be held accountable. Because we've sworn to do this.
But then you would not lose your soul.
I believe we're all slaves for the system.
We're
It's
not.
the nature of owning
We're not
house,
anymore.
paying the bills, tax.
We're all slaves to the system. And she says, we're not anymore. Now, there's the defiance. Do you understand that? This is what I'm saying. You don't need to be violent. We're not part of your system anymore. We won't buy your crap anymore. We will not be who you are. We will not be who you are making us to be. We will not adhere to your system. We will not be like that guy because that guy is trying to make me be like him. We will defy you at every turn, and we will live by a moral compass that you clearly have lost. So it's remarkable to hear that, but they just go on and basically they end up arresting these people, but they sit there trying to justify it. Oh, well, we're slaves to the system. Oh, I get paid to abuse you. It's like, what?
It's like they love the power, you know?
It's remarkable. So John, let me go to, did you have anything else you wanted to say? I want to go to Steve M here in a minute.
Yeah, no, I could ask you tons of questions, but thank you.
Love you very much, John. I'm glad you came, and stick around. We will all be together sometime. I guarantee it. So I'm gonna go to let's go over here to Steve M now. Hold on, let me find you here, Steve. Oh, there you are. Steve, how are you? Can you hear me?
Hi, can you hear me?
I can hear you fine. Great hat.
Awesome. Listen, Derek, just about what's going on in Canada. I'm in Alberta, and I work in oil sands, and I just want to let you know what we were just talking about there. I went through, I'm in Fort McMurray, and you guys probably never heard that we had a huge flood, more than what happened in 1977. It went probably a foot, maybe a little higher than 1977. I decided to stay where I am because the water was coming in really slow. It's like, well, I don't have to do anything yet. And so the cops showed up at exactly what they were saying. Oh, we're here to protect you. We're here to save you. Oh my God, you know, like you're going to be. And I said, look, I am a sovereign Canadian citizen, and I do not give you any consent to save me. I can save myself. Everything is okay. There is no danger here. And they just wanted to impose this thought.
They're loving this.
Oh my.
They're loving this. Keep in mind, all of these officers, all of these people in government, they love power, and they're pissed off that they cannot rule over the people. And now they're ecstatic because they can.
Oh, you don't know the half of it.
Oh.
Exactly that. It's like, because they have this ingrained mindset that they're going to save you. And I said, no, you will not save me. I will save myself if I
do not resuscitate. Yeah, do not resuscitate me. You're not allowed to revive me. Please.
So, Derek, I'm so glad you are still here and doing what you're doing. It's just so empowering to all of us. And people got to realize it's us. It's our mindsets that are bringing all this negativity. And if they keep on watching media, I haven't watched television in 25 years. I don't listen to that crap. I knew it was crap because I worked in that industry back in the 70s. I said, the hell with it. We have to understand that we have the power. The humans, we might be ET in genetical references and crap, but listen, we need to understand that we have the power to change things. Everybody does.
Hold on. Yes, you're absolutely right. Hold on. I got somebody that jumped on here and they've got some static going pretty bad. So everybody check your mic. If I promoted you to a panelist, just make sure that your mic, you're not rubbing around, making too much noise.
I don't know what Bill's at.
So I've just brought Heinrich on. Heinrich, so we're going to bring you on in a second. I'm going to mute you here. And
thanks for coming on tonight. And this is very important. It's going to empower a lot of people and understand and wake people up that we need to understand it's our own psyche, it's our own minds that are creating this. We can control it and we can stop it.
Oh, we can, and trust me, it will be. You know, the ridiculous part is that what they don't understand is cosmologically and from an Earth standpoint and from a sun standpoint, we have calamity coming from directions that people cannot comprehend. Good to see Ziggy joining in there, and we're going to get to you 1 second, Zig. But I want to explain to you that on Earth as it is in heaven, what is taking place in the heavenly is good. And that is reflected on what is taking place here because it's bad. It's an inverse. It's the opposite of what it is here.
As above, as below.
Yes, as that comes and compresses, as this time comes down, the veil will be cracked. Like I said, your higher self will become you if you're in touch with your higher self.
Yes,
if it doesn't, you're going to be a little wee man.
and the timelines are in confusion right now. And we can choose what timeline we can be in. We just have to have strong faith.
No question about it. You stand in it. Steve, it was really good to have you. I love that you came on. I appreciate your words. Please, 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 please stay in touch with me. Anything happens up there that I need to know about, let me know. I'll get you back on the show. We're going to talk about it because we need some eyes and ears everywhere. And I mean, eyes and ears, everybody start recording everything you got, anything that happens with officers. Do not be intimidated by them. Record everything. If they tell you you can't, tell them to, that you don't care. I'm going to be nice. Tell them however you want, but ignore them. In fact, the less you speak to them, the better off you are. If they ask you for your ID and you haven't committed a crime, ignore them. You don't have to do it. This is not Nazi Germany yet. They're trying really hard, but refuse. Refuse, refuse, refuse. Do not consent to anything and do not allow anybody else to consent. Do not. They are taking this power, and the only way we prevent real bloodshed is by standing up right now, not later. Do not wait for the bombs to fall. And trust me, when I tell you that these militia here are really well armed, you won't know the difference between them, the cops, and the military fighting each other. These guys do have rocket launchers. They do have grenades. They do have tanks. They do have armored vehicles. Trust me, they've done this. When you see the sizes of these militia and their organizations on the dark web, you're like, please, people, stop allowing them. Start defying it. They think they're making progress, but the progress they think they're making will start the bloodiest civil war you've ever seen. And the reason why we wear the masks is, number one, so we can't be judged and then they can't come after your family, things like that. They can't judge you as white, black, educated, not educated, smart, not smart. You're all the same. That judgment arm gets destroyed from them. Also, the people that are there, when you do see somebody being beat and somebody being kicked that is one of you that doesn't have that mask, you don't know who they are either. So it's a protection mechanism for us that we're not completely destroyed and heartbroken by seeing the actual people beat, but we'll know that they're behind it, but it's all of us. There is a protection mechanism. It's to keep us strong that we can endure. Endurance is critical.
Listen to your heart. You must listen to your heart. Your heart will tell you the truth.
No question about it. Well, we start talking about the heart and spiritual and love and everything, and we lose 100 viewers. That just goes to show you exactly what's going on in the world.
Sorry, man.
Yeah, no. Are you kidding me? I talk about love, and it's funny that, you know, I sound like I'm going to start a war and I get 1,000 people watching. I sound like I'm going to love somebody to death and I'll get, 500 people. It's crazy. But I fully understand. Believe me, everybody wants to burn this place down. If I had the match and I had the ability to light the entire system up right now, I would. But I wouldn't do it to hurt people. I wouldn't do it in hurting people. It's the system itself. But understand, the economic system is being destroyed intentionally. Intentionally. Remember that, folks. It's intentional. It is not by accident. So, well, thank you, Steve. I'm going to have you on again.
Love you.
Love you too. So let's go to Heinrich. Heinrich, can you hear me? Let me unmute you.
I can hear you, Derek. Can you hear me?
I hear you fine. How you doing, Heinrich?
Oh, I'm great, Derek. Thank you for putting me on. It's been a great honor just to be here with you right now. I'm trying not to freak out. I got so much information inside of me. Like you, I have been looking into this my entire life. Just like you said, that multitude, I've seen the same things, brother. I'm trying not to freak out, Derek. I'm your hyper empath guy that keeps quoting all the time and coming out with live with you, man, because I love you. I've seen visions of you, Derek. Seen visions of you teaching all these people, brother, and you got to keep on what you're doing, okay?
Oh, dude, you know what's amazing is more people, even before I said that, I've had more people tell me what I've seen back to me that when somebody says to you, well, are you worried? Are you worried that you're wrong? No. Why would I be worried? Why would I be concerned? I have no concern.
They can call it crazy all they want. All they want, Derek.
Whatever you want to call it, man. I'm telling you, it's like when somebody tells me my vision back to me and I've never met them and they go, I had a vision of you. I saw you teaching all these people and standing in front of these people. Do you realize how terrifying that is?
Yes, believe me, I get the same visions. Just like some of the other things you said, I'm not going to expound on right now because I don't like thinking that way. But I've seen myself up there too, Derek. Okay, that's what freaks me out a little bit too, man. I have empathic abilities, and I want to share something real quick with a bunch of empaths out there. You empaths need to quit diminishing your abilities, man. Okay, you have the ability to feel people because that is what telepathy brings. That's what Christ was. He could see things. He knew what was coming. Those abilities, you got to train yourself. You got to start picking up why all the hair on your body stands up. Derek, that's called truth. That's spiritual truth, brother. When all that hair stands up on your body, you know somebody's telling you the truth. Man, you should see how all the hair on my body stands up. When we're talking and you're talking, dude, everything starts coming alive in me like a power surge.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah, with empathy,
what it's about.
I'm at work, bro, and I'm sorry I'm kind of dancing around, dude. I'm out here trying to hide a little bit. I got 12 people on my team I try to teach and bring to you and send people your way and everything because you got the truth in you, dude. This whole thing that we've been taught our whole life, I've been in church the whole time and nothing has been told to me about truth. And I knew, just like you were asking these people, man, this is like reflection, even watching you a lot of times. Like, man, this dude is right there on the same page with me. Where have I been my whole life? I've been out here alone trying to find people like y'all. Okay, and it's hard to find us. Thank God we got the internet now that puts everybody together and we can actually touch base. Don't stop doing anything that you're doing, Derek. You've got that power in you, dude. I see it. I see your aura patterns are freaking awesome. Okay, when you start speaking, your head starts glowing and go, dude. It's awesome. So you keep that up, Derek. You bring all these different YouTubers together. People need to understand it's not about who has the right choice, who has this. I say it this way, I say it that way, like you're saying. It's all about bringing everybody together. That multitude will happen. Okay, I've seen that vision too.
Oh, yeah.
That multitude is coming, and you are bringing all the truth out, just like Maverick, just like Naughty. And Naughty is freaking awesome, dude. He's touched on so many different alien topics with me. Has brought some truth out. I'm a hippie, as you can tell, and with a Palladian attitude.
We love hippies.
But with that, Derek, I won't take much of your time. Like I said, I'm at work. I'm trying to watch my guys here. Empathy skills again. Learn your empathy skills. You will start to see that is your spirit teaching your body, waking you up, teaching you, telling you, hey, be aware, your gut instinct. All that is empathic skills. Once you proceed from there, keep continuing learning the gifts of the spirit. You will need these later. Okay, yes. Trust me. This is what I've heard inside of me my whole life. I've been practicing this my whole life, Derek. This is not something new to me. I'm well versed. Okay.
Oh, awesome. Heinrich, I'll tell you, I've seen your name so many times around. It's finally awesome to see your face. But let me just explain to you a little bit about. First of all, I love your energy, brother. I love your energy. You know, this is the type of thing I've said. You know, I picture people that are with me, and the amazing part is that I've, you know, the vision. And then you come on and I go, yeah, that's one of them. I know, I just hear it. I see it. I totally get it. People do not understand that this veil is collapsing, and that's why people are seeing it. That's why this is even happening.
Yes.
They're
Yes,
reacting because the veil is coming down. And believe me, when the veil is down, completely torn, this place is not going to be the same location.
No, it's not. And I'm waiting for that heaven to come down to earth. The two dimensions coming together. Yeah, it's all true. What you said earlier about dimensionals and being able to transfer back and forth, dude, it's like when I'm sleeping lately, it's like I go out somewhere and when I come back, I feel heavy again. Like I'm back on this dimension and it's like super heavy and I'm sluggish for the first like 2 hours. So
just keep this in mind. Every ancient text, every ancient carving carved in stones, everywhere all over the earth have told of the same exact thing.
Yes.
This is not an accident. This is an event that takes place. It's a short event that seems long, but it's a short event, but it defines everything. It will define everything. And this is where the sages come from. And then things get corrupted again as they go, and then we end up back in the same place. So those that got out during that veil collapse, they're out. Those that didn't figure it out, these cops abusing people that say, hey, they've accepted, they've sold their soul, they've sold their birthright. Look, this is Esau. They've sold their birthright for their food. Every single parable tells you exactly what people are doing. You see it. You don't need scripture explained to you. You don't need a church and some guy to tell you what a doctrine is. There is no doctrine. There is no such thing as a doctrine, because Christ and the Spirit does not indoctrinate you. He introduces you to him. And that's all you need. You don't need somebody to teach you anything, because once you're introduced, the answers are there. And if you haven't gotten the answer, you're like, oh, I don't know the answer to that. Well, guess what? You're not supposed to know it yet. Just a secret. You're only supposed to know what you know. You're only given, I'm gonna say this softly so everybody understands. You're only supposed to know what you're supposed to know. Stop.
Thank you.
Seeking
that answered so much.
If you haven't found the answer yet, you're not supposed to know yet.
That answered so much for me right there. I've had a lot of want to get on YouTube and kind of teach some people some of these gifts that I have, but man, I'm kind of fearful about that too, because I think once I start doing it, they're gonna come after me. I've had them follow me before, Derek, for things I posted, dude. It's not cool. You know what I mean?
Oh, trust me. I think I've lived that. Well, I appreciate that, man. Heinrich, we'll talk again. You got something really exciting to say? You just let me know. I'll bring you back on the show sometime. This is just going to be kind of a preemptive interview to talk to all of you guys, because we're going to have kind of I think I'm probably going to try to put together like a weekly show, and I'll just call it the Roughnecks. Right. So the roughneck bastards out there that actually know what's going on and get it, we're going to come in and talk about what's happening in our respective areas. So I appreciate that, Heinrich. I really appreciate you coming on. Love your spirit. Keep it up. Keep the love going. Don't stop.
Thank you, bros. Thank you for having me on.
All right. I'll talk to you soon. So we're going to go to Ziggy now. Ziggy. Hold on 1 second. Hold on. Trying to figure that out. Okay, so Ziggy, let me spotlight you. How you doing, Ziggy?
I'm doing good, my brother. Can you hear me okay?
I hear you perfect.
5 by 5. Another thing you could call us, besides the Roughnecks, is divergence. You ever heard that term, divergent?
Of course, we are divergent.
Well, I know we are, because last week when I tuned in, because I've been away for a while. We met out in the desert. I don't know if you remember or not.
I do remember you, Zig.
But and I met Malia, and you guys, it was quite an interesting experience. Let me put it that way.
Yeah.
But
for everybody, it didn't go. It didn't go as we all expected, did it?
No, but it went the way it was supposed to.
That's the point.
Yes.
We saw everything we needed to see, and all of it was a preview for what we were here.
That's correct, my
brother. It was just a preview
and
for right now. That's all.
That's it. And then, all my life I've heard, when you're ready, the teachers will come. and I've been slapping my foot down for 20 years saying, damn it, I'm ready. Send me them teachers. And I'll tell you what, they're coming out. Derek, things are really messed up right now, which that. That's why you're here. I'm a Uber and Lyft driver. We talked before too a little bit, but I've been red pilling people for 4 years now up in Lake Tahoe where there's money and shit. And these people, these intelligent people that own these $1 million homes and everything around the lake, they ain't got a clue what's going on. And I shake my head. It's the young kids, the rainbow children and stuff that I've come across that I've been able to, they don't understand. They've been lied to their whole life, Derek. Just like us, we've been lied to. But these kids don't understand it. But the one thing I have found, in that millennium group, these young kids want to learn, but they need the damn teachers, I've seen a lot of that.
Yep.
And, that's been part of my thing, and ever since I turned into the movie, last week when you started with that lady, I said, okay, I've been trying to stay away from mainstream news and stuff because I've had 7 heart attacks and 9 back surgeries, and I'm hard of hearing. That's why I keep pulling the phone up. But, I got the near-death experience. I died. I went to heaven, what they call heaven. It's a beautiful place. I did not want to come back here, damn it. I did not. It was so beautiful and love, but the big kahuna, they said, Ziggy, you're not done yet, and I came back, and sometimes I wonder, it's like, take me home. I'm tired. I'm tired all the time now. I'm beat up. I've tried to believe in QAnon bullshit and Trump and all this shit, I've tried to look at every side, not believe in anything. I'm so frustrated, it's like I say, Lord, take me home. My heart's thumping right now too. If I drop, guys, it's all good. I'll wait from you from up there. But it's so frustrating. Today, I've been in the house for a couple of weeks now.
Let me just stop you real quick, Ziggy. I've just got to tell you though. You said how many heart attacks have you had?
7.
You've had 7 heart attacks, and
2 widowmakers. Widowmaker twice.
Wow, widowmaker twice. You have 7 heart attacks. If you dropped dead of a heart attack during my show, that would be appointed, right?
With the synchronicities, they're happening so much right now, Derek. I mean, what's going on? I've been wanting to write you an email for the last week since I watched that movie but the universe, God, the big guy, he keeps sending me to more stuff, and I just keep getting man, I'm being fed by a quantum computer. I'm getting shit. But again, I don't know anybody. I got one daughter on the planet who's totally asleep. I vaccinated her ass off, and I fried her a little bit. And but she doesn't. She's an ostrich, and the people you want to help the most, God said, Ziggy, don't worry about Jordan. Same name as Malia's daughter, Jordan. He said, don't worry. When she's ready, the teachers will come, and you're not supposed to teach her. But Derek, you're a teacher out there. I sat there with your mama, up there in the house when she went through that Enoch letter stuff and whatnot. Okay, and
she read my letters. Yeah.
What's that?
She read my letters that I sent her from prison.
Yeah, she had a letter there. Yeah.
Yeah.
And but anyways, Derek, you're a teacher. You're doing, right now, if you drop dead, when you went up there, the Lord Jesus would wrap his arms around you and said, good job, my faithful servant. Because, you're kicking some butt. I want to let you know, I'm right behind you. I'm packing up my shit from where I'm at now. I've gotten rid of everything. Derek, I ran in the circles too, okay? But I've gotten rid of everything, the worldly shit, except this damn fish tank here, which I don't know what I'm going to do with it. But I got me a van. I used to drive Uber and Lyft, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to transport pets across the country and help out wherever they need me to help out.
Well, good. That's awesome.
That's my job.
That's
I'm
awesome.
ordering my mask tonight off Amazon.com.
Well, just have it. You just don't want anybody to know. Cover your hands and your face when you're out. If you're talking, if any protest anywhere, do not show yourself. They will come to your door.
Well, they're going to come. I might disappear.
We're just delaying the time. That's all. We're just delaying. We're just delaying them, Ziggy. That trust me, there isn't any way that we're going to prevent people from coming to our door as this progresses. Over the next 3 years is when this is going to get terrible. And this second stage of the virus, now that they've opened it back up, you're already seeing they're going this new strain. Oh, now it's going to be damaging. This is exactly what happened during the Spanish influenza. The very first part of it was complete crap. Everybody was demanding that we go back out. Everybody goes back out. A larger, more aggressive strain of the influenza is released. Everybody dies. The biggest part of them die in the second and the third phase that they called phases. And each one of those phases are doing exactly what it is. They go, oh, well, it's just the nature of the people. No, it's not. It's not the nature of the people. It's the nature of the system that you are orchestrating. You are dictating it. Nobody gets to hear any opposition. We think, you know, when we watch this, Ziggy, when we're watching the things that are going on right now, we think that everybody is just as informed as us because we have channels that we're paying attention to. We have people that we've listened to. But if you're new, let's say you're just a person that never went on YouTube and they had the lockdown and you went on YouTube, you wouldn't find any of us. Any of us. No. They do not show it. So they will not show us. So
correct.
That's what's happening. So there is a, but you know, Ziggy, I love the fact that you're, first of all, I love your hat. And I love the fact that you came on here, and I can't wait to see you again. And we will see each other. I want to get, we've got to close this up. I've been going 2 hours and 20 minutes. This is a long show.
I think this is important, Derek. One last thing, okay?
Yes, sir.
When your show started today, I've been looking forward to it. The phone rang. I answered it. It's my neighbor. He says, "Can you take me to the hospital?" I'm like, what the F? So anyways, I said, sure, let's go. You ready? So we get in there. He gets in my car. He's coughing up blood and shit. You know, I mean, I ain't known anybody been sick for this. But see, the thing is, the point is, he's had COPD for 2 years. Sicker than a doornail. He's skeleton. I'm surprised he lived that long. But I dumped him off at the hospital, dropped him off. But anyways, he ain't coming out. There ain't no way he coming out.
They won't let him. No. It's
done.
like, yeah. They're first of all, the hospital is incentivized. They get $38,000 for a patient with COVID that's on a ventilator, right? They're going to make sure
he's going on a ventilator.
Yeah. And guess what? The minute you're on a ventilator, the odds of you dying is about 85%.
80%.
Yeah. So 80.
That's from Trump. That's out of Trump's mouth.
That's Trump's mouth. Yeah. I can't imagine that Trump.
And I saw a video today, Derek, that was, Trump and the Epstein connection that I did not know about, but it was from a good, reliable source, I think. And it just blows me away because I didn't want to believe that shit, but I'm starting to, my eyes are being, the veil's being lifted.
I was in Hollywood for a lot of years, right? I was Cuba Gooding Jr.'s manager. I've produced movies. I was in Hollywood for a lot of years. I was an executive at Microsoft and executive at Paramount Pictures. I've been around the industry. I've been all over the world. I've met all of these people. I've met Donald Trump. The only person I haven't met, which is really, really crazy out of all of this thing, when Epstein came up, I was like, why is it through all of the things, I actually never personally met him. I'm sure I was at some of the parties or premieres or something that he was at, but I never met the guy. And I really wasn't even aware of him. I was more aware of people like Arnon Milchan, who was an arms dealer, and everybody in Hollywood knew it, that he was an illegal arms dealer, an Israeli arms dealer. And yet he's a major producer. So they just overlook that. And now he admits, oh yeah, I was not only an arms dealer, but I'm an Israeli spy. Perfect. So,
the rabbit hole is deep. The rabbit hole is deep.
Well, what's so crazy about it is I met all of these people. So I can promise you right now, though, is the one thing that I do know about Trump and I do know about Epstein is that everybody that I know that knows Trump knows that he was really good friends with Epstein and spent a lot of time with him.
They spent a lot of money buying up the videos that were out there 3 years ago.
Believe me. It's like, folks, come on, man. You're trying to root for this guy.
Hey, but I bought into that, Derek. I've been trying to believe it for the last couple of years,
Yeah, I've heard, oh my God, Tom Hanks has been assassinated, or Tom Hanks was hung. He was killed for his crimes against humanity and children. And the Q stuff is out of control.
I hear you, brother.
It's amazing that people can say
it's AI. Don't you think it's AI?
Yeah, what you say is outlandish, they say. But of course it's AI. It was usurped just like everything else. Get a clue, people. Get a clue. How long have you been saying people are going to be marched out and judged before everyone? That will happen.
95% of the people, they don't have a clue, Derek, and you can't get through to them. And I just got to drop it. And thank God for you guys that I could at least get a little venting out here today, because I love you guys. Thank you. So tell Malia I send my love, and I am.
She's
you guys
probably
gonna be,
listen. She's probably listening. She's not here right now. She's on her way to Florida.
Well, yeah, I hope she tried that kratom. I gave her a little gift when I was there, and
She did.
I'll tell you what. Like I say, you guys are going to be seeing me as long as I don't drop dead. You guys might be seeing me, and after dropping that brother off at the hospital, they probably going to be coming wanting to test me, but they ain't testing my butt.
Yeah, they'll test you because they'll trace you. Because that guy in the hospital, they'll say, "Where did you just come from?" "Oh, my friend Ziggy just dropped me off, and he lives over here." They'll be like,
"Oh, I know. Yeah, I ain't answering the damn door."
No, hell no. All right, Ziggy, I love you much. I'll talk to you again soon.
Keep up the good fight, my brother.
Thanks so much. I'm going to.
Take care, Malia. All right.
I've got 2 other folks I'm trying to get to. I'm going to go to. I'm going to mute you, Paul. I'm going to use you last. And let's see, RJ Love, are you there?
Yes,
RJ.
Derek.
Hi, RJ. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good.
You can hear me okay?
I hear you perfectly.
Wonderful. I just want to say I love Steve.
You say that again?
I said I want to say I love Steve and Ziggy very much.
Oh, that's awesome.
They just made me smile so big.
That's awesome. Yeah, they're Ziggy's awesome. Just a very, very cool dude. And so is Heinrich. Everybody's been wonderful. And thank you for coming on. Did you is there anything else you wanted to say?
I do. I just wanted to say that from the very beginning of the program, the police officer kind of touched my heart pretty close. I used to be a police officer and was in his shoes, and I was a police officer in the military. So I've been through some refinement. And when we talk about refinement and we talk about pain and what you just talked about recently in refinement and pain, it sure does hurt. And so when you see someone like that come through, I know exactly what he's going through. And so for anybody that's watching out there, and when you have to go back and watch the video, when you talk about throwing these things in a backpack and throwing it off the cliff, because I am also one of those people you talked about with problems with PTSD on medications.
Mm-hmm.
I have none of these things anymore since watching your videos and finding you 2 years ago.
Oh, that makes my
I do have to tell you, I do have to tell you that I did walk away from you. And I said, this guy's crazy.
Yeah.
I did. And then I came back.
That's okay.
And that's the honest truth, because I struggled. I struggled really hard.
I know, you know, RJ, I've had that happen so many times. Somebody would come and they'd go, "Oh, I just love what you said." And then they hate me because of something I said. And I always try to emphasize this. The reason why you don't idolize somebody, particularly in this meat suit, you can respect, honor, love the things that they speak of because it's led you somewhere. But if you have placed all of those on me as being responsible for it, well, when I fall, you'll fall. And I don't want that. So the point is that I need you to know that you've heard these things, but I didn't fix you. You did. I simply said the words that allowed you to do it, that you could hear, that you wouldn't have heard somebody else, but you heard me. I didn't do it. You did. Because if I did it, then I would be able to succeed doing it to anybody I talked to. But it doesn't work that way. I can say it to this guy and he won't hear a thing. I can say it to you and you will do something with it. I can say it to another person and they'll take some of it. But if I fall, if I do something at any point in time, if you've put me on a pedestal and you've idolized me and I say something that you don't like or you don't understand yet, now you throw away everything that I've said and everything that you took positively from me.